I thought my marriage to Skylar was perfect. We had been together since college, a whirlwind romance that everyone said was destined for a fairy tale ending. We built a beautiful life, a cozy house in the suburbs, 2 amazing kids, and a bond I believed was unbreakable. Skylar was my everything, my best friend, my confidant, my partner in every sense of the word. The way she looked at me, the way she laughed at my dumb jokes. I never once questioned her love, until the signs started appearing. Small at first, like tiny cracks in a flawless vase. It began with her phone. Skylar, who once left her phone lying around without a care, suddenly guarded it like it was a national secret. It was always face down on the counter or tucked away in her purse. A new password appeared, one I didn't know. When I asked about it, she just smiled and said it was for work security, a new company policy. I accepted it. Why wouldn't I? I trusted her. Then came the late nights at the office. Big project, she'd say, looking tired. We're all pulling extra hours to meet the deadline. I'd make her a late dinner, rub her shoulders, and tell her how proud I was of her work ethic. I was the supportive husband, completely oblivious. Our intimacy changed too. It wasn't that it stopped completely, but it became different, distant. It felt like she was going through the motions, her mind a million miles away. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd blame it on stress from work. I'm just so exhausted, Chase. She'd sigh, and I'd feel guilty for even bringing it up. I started trying harder, planning date nights, buying her flowers, doing anything I could to reignite that spark I felt was dimming. She'd smile and thank me, but the distance in her eyes remained. The real gut punch came on our anniversary. I had planned a surprise weekend getaway to the same little bed and breakfast where I proposed. I was so excited I could barely contain myself. That morning, I made her breakfast in bed, a tradition of ours. As she was eating, a notification lit up her phone on the nightstand. She lunged for it, but I'd already seen the preview, a name I didn't recognize, followed by a message. Can't stop thinking about last night. You were amazing. My heart stopped. The world around me went silent, except for a deafening roar in my ears. I just stared at the phone, then at her. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with panic. Who is that, Skylar? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She tried to lie, of course. It's just a colleague, she stammered. It's a work thing, an inside joke. But the look on her face told me everything. The foundation of my world crumbled in that single moment. The man I was, the husband who trusted his wife implicitly, died right there. The argument that followed was the worst of my life. The truth came out in a torrent of tears and accusations. His name was Alex. He was a new manager at her firm. It started with lunches, then late-night work sessions that weren't about work at all. It just happened, Chase, she cried. I didn't mean for it to. That phrase, it just happened, echoed in my head. Betrayal doesn't just happen. It's a choice, a series of choices. Every late night, every secret text, every time she pushed me away, it was all a choice. She begged for forgiveness, swore it was a mistake, and that it was over. She said she loved me, that she wanted our family, our life. A part of me, the part that still loved the girl I married, wanted to believe her. I wanted to wake up from this nightmare and find everything was back to normal. So, against my better judgment, I agreed to try. We started marriage counseling. It was excruciating, sitting in a sterile office, dissecting the corpse of our marriage with a stranger. During those weeks, Skylar was the perfect wife, attentive, loving, apologetic. She deleted Alex's number in front of me, gave me her phone password, and came home every day right after work. I convinced myself that this was just a horrible chapter, not the end of the book. I was a fool. One evening I was using our shared family tablet to look up a recipe. It was between Skylar and her best friend, dated from the week before. My blood ran cold as I read. Skylar wasn't just remorseful. She was conflicted. I know I should be focused on Chase, she wrote, but I can't get Alex out of my head. I miss him. I think I might love him. Then the final soul-crushing sentence. I am only staying with Chase for the kids, and because I am scared to be alone. He's the safe choice. Safe. I was the safe choice. The consolation prize. The man she was with, not out of love, but out of convenience and fear. All her apologies, all her promises, They were a lie. She wasn't fighting for our marriage. She was just buying time. The hope I had painstakingly tried to cultivate withered and died instantly. There was no coming back from this. She didn't just cheat on me physically. Her heart had left me long ago. She was living in my house, sleeping in my bed, but her heart was somewhere else entirely. I didn't confront her that night. Couldn't. I packed a bag, my hands shaking with a mixture of rage and profound sadness. I wrote her a short note, placing it on her pillow. I know you're only with me because I'm the safe choice. I'm setting you free. Go find what your heart is looking for. But it isn't me anymore. I left the tablet next to the note, the incriminating conversation still on the screen. Then I walked out of the house I had built with her, out of a life I thought was mine, and I didn't look back.
Ow.
The days that followed were a blur of pain. Telling the kids was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Seeing their confusion and hurt was like a knife twisting in my gut. But I had to be strong for them. I found a small apartment and started the slow, agonizing process of building a new life from the wreckage of my old one. Friends and family rallied around me, their support a lifeline in the storm. Some people might say I should have fought harder, that I gave up too easily. But you can't fight for someone who doesn't want to be fought for. You can't force someone to love you. My love for Skylar was real, but hers for me had become a ghost, a memory of something that no longer existed. Staying would have meant living a lie, being a safe choice for the rest of my life. Always wondering, always second-guessing. I deserved more than that. My kids deserved a father who was happy and whole, not one slowly being eaten away by resentment and a broken heart. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. I heard through a mutual friend that Skylar and Alex didn't last. Apparently the fantasy couldn't survive the harsh light of reality. I felt a brief, bitter sense of satisfaction, but mostly I just felt pity for her. She had thrown away a real, committed love for a fleeting infatuation, and in the end was left with nothing. It's been 2 years now. The pain has faded into a scar, a reminder of what I went through, but also a symbol of my survival. I've focused on my kids and on myself. Rediscovered hobbies I had let slide, reconnected with old friends, and learned to be happy on my own. I've started dating again cautiously. I know now that trust is a fragile thing, something to be earned, not given freely. My story isn't a fairy tale. It's a story of betrayal and heartbreak, but it's also a story of resilience and rediscovery. I lost the woman I thought was the love of my life, but in the process, I found myself again. I learned that my worth isn't defined by someone else's love for me, and that sometimes walking away is the strongest and bravest thing you can do. You can't build a future with someone whose heart belongs to their past. She said she was mine, but her heart was somewhere else. And now, finally, my heart is my own again. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've gone through something similar, know that you are not alone, and there is light on the other side. Please like and subscribe for more stories.